you really so angry because of Leah? What a waste!
This is the story of hunting the witch Adria and her bloody return in Reaper of Souls. With the pyromaniac former angel Urzael dead, we return to the Survivor's Enclave and ask Tyrael why the high heavens will not intervene, seemingly content to watch as Westmarch burned.
Urzael is slain. Westmarch is saved. And yet these thoughts weigh constantly upon me.
There will always be another battle, but a seasoned fighter enjoys the victory at hand.
Wise words, my friend. Angels are cursed with a wider perspective of events. To live in the moment is a part of mortal existence I must learn to embrace.
Where are the angels? Why do they not stop Malthael?
There is confusion and dissension in the high heavens. You must remember, Malthael was our leader once.
You're on the Adrias Council. Get the angelic host down here.
Imperius commands the host, and he will not unleash them on a fellow angel, especially a former member of the Adrias Council.
Imperius. I'll have words with him when this is over.
Although we do not agree with his answer, we momentarily put aside our grievance, especially for their self-righteous leader in Imperius, the supposed aspect of valor for now. We also bear grave news to General Torian that we witnessed his king slain at the hands of the betrayer Lord Winton, whose reign we cut short.
I have bad news, General. The king is dead.
I'd heard rumors, but I hoped. I didn't really care for the king at first, but he turned into a good ruler. Hadn't been himself lately, though. The last of his trusted advisors died recently. Hit him hard, it did. He would have recovered eventually. Now, he'll never get the chance.
With naught but bad news, no aid from the heavens, and no new leads on Malthael's whereabouts, we seek out the Seer Miriam for insight and are surprised at a shocking revelation.
Cheldo, I know how to find Malthael, but you will not like what I have to tell you.
What is it?
There is only one person who knows how to find Malthael. She waits for you in the Blood Marsh, and you know her well. Adria.
Adria.
Adria is not as you remember her. She is channeling blood magic to prepare herself to retrieve the Black Soul Stone.
Explain.
Some things cannot be explained. You must see them for yourself.
I'm going to walk away now.
You have no sense of adventure.
Perhaps Miriam is right, but our mind was blank, save for one thought. We would put down the betrayer, Adria, as we begin our search for the witch in the tomb of Rarkus. To the southeast, blocking our path, is Lorath Na, who states,
"You're not going anywhere without me."
And why is that?
Someone has to make sure you don't kill Adria before you find out where Malthael is.
Come if you want, but Adria is going to pay for what she did to Leah.
Lorath Na seemingly agrees to our terms as we enter the overgrown ruins.
Urzael and the Reapers are dead. Now the people of Westmarch can begin to rebuild their city and their lives. Lorath and I depart for the Blood Marsh to confront Adria. She knows how to find Malthael, but more importantly, there is a blood debt between us, and she will pay it.
Entering the overgrown ruins, its name holds true. A boggy marsh that seems tainted with ruins long forgotten. It's then Lorath Na explains its value to the Horodrim.
We hid the Black Soul Stone in the deepest part of the Nephilim ruins near here. We thought it would be safe, but Malthael found it all the same.
It's then we see the first sign of Adria's blood magic as we step over a puddle of blood that looks to suck us in, and many round, disgusting beasts called boggarts come to defend their lair, or are summoned by Adria's magic itself. It's then Lorath Na further questions our methods, but thinks better of it.
How are you going to get Adria to tell you where Malthael is? Actually, I don't want to know.
Wise man. He could never fully appreciate the fury in seeing Adria's betrayal against Leah and all of humanity. It's then to the north we find the coveted entrance to the Temple of Rakas, collapsed.
This is the entrance to the tomb, but someone's collapsed it.
Adria.
It looks like we'll have to find another way into the ruins. What was that?
In response to our trespassing, a group of boggart 12 strong start to try and swarm us, and we think to ourselves, is that it? As if in response to our taunt, the tusked boggart appears much larger and dangerous than their brethren, but their bloody horns are met with our own bloody thorns.
This was just one entrance to the city. There are guide stones littered across the blood marsh that will lead us to the main one. The guide stones are useless to most, but will reveal the correct path to a Nephilim such as yourself.
As Lorath promised, the door to the north slides down, opening the entrance to the lower blood marshes, and the copper smell of blood fills the air.
You may be clever, Adria, but your time in the sun draws to a close.
Remember to get the information we need before you...
Right.
Well, that's not very reassuring.
Further denizens of the marsh attempt to protect their boggy corner of the marsh, but do so impotently. It's not long before we come across a guide stone to the south. The air itself changes into a blood red, as if to ward us off from whatever path that we pursue.
This is one of the guide stones, but nothing happens when I approach it.
Let me try.
Approaching the guide stone, we begin to inspect it and see it holds 4 elements around its base, and then as we touch it, one of them is removed.
There are 4 entrances to the Nephilim city, each one etched with a sigil. Only the correct one marks the true entrance to the tomb, however. When you activate these stones, one of the wrong sigils disappears.
Learning how to unlock the failsafe, we pause for a moment and see the witch has been here, and we pick up her lost satchel, which reveals a loose page of her journal.
The first time I saw a witch, she burned. Father took me to the town square to see it. Look, he said, that is the face of evil. But she looked like any other woman, and burned like anything else. Then the flames engulfed her. Her eyes found mine, and she laughed.
A sad tale indeed, but if Adria, or anyone for that matter, believes that their past justifies their horrendous actions in the present, they are sadly mistaken, as she will answer for her crimes. As we battle our way through the bog, we finally find the Nephilim guide stone that leads us to the correct temple, but unfortunately is guarded by a disgusting maggot brood.
Ah, now I know which sigil marks the right passage.
The maggot brood we had once learned about in our journal from Al-Abd Hazir that reads,
Searching for the maggot brood has been quite an adventure. I first observed the corpse of one near the road to Westmarch, where it raised such a stench that my new assistant vomited twice on my favorite traveling cloak. The stains came out eventually, but I was sorely vexed.
Trudging through the perilous marsh, it's to the east we finally find the entrance and exclaim,
This is the right passage.
Fire. How fitting, as the fury of 1,000 suns burns in our heart, and we promise retribution against the witch Adria. Inside the sunken, musty tomb, a lone bridge leads us west to a new group of enemies. The Flesh Gorges, large red demons that hunt in packs and are led by one Riker, the Lord of Damnation. A nice right nod to the YouTuber of the same name.
Why do you suppose the Nephilim desired secrecy so much?
Taking Rikers follow account to 0, Lorath Na then expands upon the origins of the beast's power.
I have always wondered how much Adria relied on Diablo's power instead of her own. Based on her blood golems, her magic is very strong. These flesh gorges are raised from earth, stone, and demon blood, and they are driven to feast on humans so they may resemble us more closely. Let's hope they don't succeed. The flesh shaman was created from the blood of the witch Adria. Because of that, the shaman is able to use magic as she does, channeling the power of blood and fire. Luckily, Adria only has so much blood to shed, and not for much longer.
Well, that's something that we can agree on. As we find the next level down to the Ruins of Corvus, we think better of having Lorath Na by our side against the crafty witch.
Wait here, Lorath. You can join me when it's finished.
You're going to kill her, aren't you?
I will do what is right.
We are all counting on you.
Wading through the blood demons, we fight our way through more flesh shaman and their kin, and find an orange piece of chest armor. Pausing to examine it, we see that its properties reveal it to be Shimizu's Hayari, and it will increase our falling sword damage by 10%. Unfortunately, it is ugly as sin, and we remind ourselves we must see Miriam and finally utilize her transmog ability, lest we be the laughingstock of every man, woman, child, and reflective surface we come across.
Make your peace quickly.
But fashion quickly becomes the last thing on our mind. Behind us, we see the entrance to a great hall and intuitively know that the witch Adria awaits our arrival. And so, we step inside. Adria, alive and well, consults her blood pool's magic for Malthael's whereabouts.
Let's see where you've been hiding, Malthael.
Adria.
The angels will never suffer us to live. They cannot accept the fact that we may choose our own path. At least demons are not so rigid in their beliefs.
With a sudden shriek, Adria's magic engulfs her form, tossing her body into the bloody pool behind her. Blood and bone are bound into a new sinew-laden demonic form as she emerges from the pool barely recognizable, save that unmistakable and wicked laugh. The little girl that watched the witch burn is no more.
We will choose our own destiny, but you won't be around to see that.
In her new form, Adria boasts many unholy abilities, including Slash, a rapid melee strike only used if all other attacks are on cooldown, or the Wing Slash, where Adria raises her wing menacingly, swiping a cone in front of her for over 1 second, which deals heavy physical damage, but can be avoided if noticed in time.
Fire consumes all.
And then, of course, between attacks, Adria taunts.
Diablo sent me a vision. He had returned, and you were the one who freed him.
Never.
He always finds a way. My master will return.
Too late to save you.
Whirlpool, aka Bloodpool, where Adria instantly teleports to another location, usually into close combat with the player, dealing physical damage within 10 yards of both starting and destination points. And finally, Blood Rain, Adria's main weapon. Every 25% of health or every other 45 seconds, she will use Whirlpool to move back to her starting position. Once there, for 3 seconds, she cannot perform any actions and is vulnerable at that moment, and after that, calls down a rain of blood oozes. The oozes are invulnerable and untargetable, crawling erratically over the arena.
The fires of the burning hells cannot be extinguished.
And, if stepped on, create a pool of blood dealing average physical damage over time. Each pool exists for roughly 15 seconds, but oozes do not despawn until stepped on. With the fight dragging on, Adria realizes praising her dark master does naught to affect us, and shifts gears to taunt us about her fallen friend much closer to home, and brings up the name of her dead daughter, Leah.
Are you really so angry because of Leah? What a waste!
Enraged at Adria's callous taunt, she feels the burn of holy light, shrieking as her body is torn asunder. putrid maggots the only thing left in the wake of her carnage, we see another page of her journal which reads,
Diablo will return. I have done what I can to ensure it. He always finds a way. In your heart of hearts, you know this.
A Dark Master may return, but we will ensure she won't, and so we crush the maggots underfoot around her fallen corpse. Moving to the blood pool, we see Lorath has joined us and is pensively staring into the crimson liquid. Approaching him,
Before she died, Adria conjured an image of Pandemonium.
She was searching for Malthael, so he must be there.
And with that, our quest is complete. But we must still hunt down the Angel of Death in Pandemonium. And there's only one angel we know of that will be able to guide us.
I need to go back.